What's up everyone? So in this video we are going to be talking all about how to reprogram your mind quickly so you can actually shift from where you are now to where you want to be fast. So let's get into it. Everything that I'm going to be showing to you guys today and explaining to you is basically the base of the Freedom Formula, which is my program, and the doors are open. So if you are tired of feeling stuck and you're wanting to manifest the life that you want and your deepest desires, and you want to see if you qualify for this program, then go and hit the button below and book a call with me so we can actually see if you do qualify for the program. Your life isn't happening out there. It's not this external world that you have to try to work with in order to get a piece of the pie, you know? So the world is a hologram, and this is something that quantum physics and science is proving every single day. There's so many videos out there on this, and this is literally the basis of my work, is the science behind creating the reality that you want. And science is proving the world that we live in is limitless. There are infinite amount of possible realities and possible outcomes to any one situation. The more that you can actually accept this and understand this and bring this into your life, that is when you will actually be able to have the life that you want. If you're stuck in the mentality that life is out there and things are happening to you, then you're gonna stay stuck. But if you're ready to actually take responsibility for your life and take charge of your life and stand in your power and create the life that you thought was only in your dreams, then let's continue on to the rest of this video. So there are three main factors and ingredients that I feel are the most important that you start to reprogram. These three things are your base emotional state, your focus, and your actual perception of your world. Your base emotional state is how you feel most of the time. Now, everybody has the good days and their bad days and everything in between, but what would you say is your emotional state on average? Is your average emotional state one of anxiety and stress and overwhelm? Or would you say your average state is peace, calm, content? If you said the latter, then that's really good, and the reprogramming process will be 1,000 times easier for you. If you said the former, which was the stressed out, overwhelmed, stuck, anxiety, depressed, then we need to work on that first. And the reason being is because if you are in that fear state, that lack state, and you're trying to reprogram your mind to the reality that you want, you will only get more challenges, more obstacles. Nothing that you do to reprogram your mind to the reality that you're wanting will stick. Nothing. That's because you aren't a match to any of that information. You aren't receptive enough emotionally to actually take on that new information. So if you are noticing that you're in a fearful state, a lack state, an overwhelmed state, you need to work on lifting up and making feeling good a priority. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, everything in your day needs to be, how can I feel good right now? And that leads into the next thing that we need to reprogram, which is your focus. Whatever you focus on is what you will be bringing into your life. Are you focusing on lack? Are you focusing on the arguments that happened, I don't know, a week ago in your head? Are you focusing on the bills that are happening, that are coming in? Where are you looking? Your focus equals the direction that you are going in. So are you focused on failure? Are you focused on what's happened in the past? Are you focused on what possibly will happen in the future that will just cause so much pain for you? Or are you focused on bliss? Are you focused on the things that you're grateful for? Are you focused on the things that are working out in your life? Are you focused on the blessings in your life? Are you focused on making every day the best day possible? And your focus leads to your base emotional state. And last but not least, we have the way that you view the world. And again, when it comes to your perspective of your life, it all stems from your focus as well. Because if your focus leads to how you feel has such a huge role in your perspective. If you're feeling anxious and depressed, you will never be able to reach the perspective of everything is working out for me. You need to lift your mood up in order to even reach the better perspectives that will make you a match to changes in your life. So if you take anything away from those 3 points, is where are you putting your energy? What are you focusing on? What are you constantly looking at and thinking about? How do you actually reprogram your mind once you are in the better feeling state so that you can actually create a completely different reality, the reality of your dreams? And to lead this part off, I want to talk about a myth that is out there regarding reprogramming your mind that really ends up holding you back, creating more stress, and slows you down. If I just meditate and visualize what I want, everything will happen. Which, this technique works, but it only works if your emotional state is in a range that is receptive to that information. If you are stuck and frustrated and anxious and depressed, you will never be able to reprogram your mind because it won't be able to take in that information. The reason you are doing the meditation, the reason you are trying to visualize the life that you want, is because you are trying to move away from and fix the life that you currently have. Your intentions for that activity and that technique are so off, they're so wrong, that will keep you more stuck and actually only breed more frustration and anxiety and more things going wrong in your life. Trust me, this is something that I had to learn the hard way. Because manifesting and reprogramming is supposed to be easy, it's supposed to feel good. If it doesn't, then something is wrong and you need to start to troubleshoot what's actually happening. And the first place to look is, how do you feel? Instead of jumping right into visualizing the things that you want in your life, let's take a step back. Number 1 thing that you need to do is feel good. If you can't feel good, then the reprogramming work you're going to do isn't going to work. So prioritize feeling good. This means looking at things that lift you up, focusing on things that are fun. Whatever always makes you feel good is the thing that you need to do and think about and focus on until you're in a state that is, in the very minimum, content. Once you're content, then you can start the reprogramming process. And how you actually do reprogram your mind once you are in that state is priming your brain. The reason this is so powerful is because the way that your brain looks neurologically is how your external world is going to show up. The more that you think a certain way consistently, the more those neurological connections within your brain will keep form. This is why thinking a certain way, regardless of if it's positive or negative, is always easy when you've practiced it so much, because those neurological connections are just formed and they're tight and they're flowing perfectly. However, if you're wanting to now change your neurological connections, you have to start to prune apart those old ones that you're wanting to get rid of, which means you can't go to them, which means slowly but surely creating new patterns and new habits of thought and new habits of focus, new habits of emotions. And that's where the priming comes in. Priming is my absolute favorite, and this is something that I do in the Freedom Formula. And this is basically just priming the way, priming the roads for that way of being, priming those connections so that they're there, and all you have to do is just do them in your waking life. Basically asking the questions, how would it look? How would it feel? What would I be doing if I was fill in the blanks? So if you're trying to think positive and you want to just be a more optimistic person, then you would start to do any of those different mediums that you prefer. So journaling, speaking. You would start to prime your brain by asking yourself, how would it look if I was optimistic? What thoughts would I be thinking if I was optimistic? How would I feel if I was optimistic? What actions would I be taking if I was optimistic? So any of those types of questions are the questions that you use to prime your brain for that new way of being. And this act of priming is what allows those neurological connections to take form within your brain, within your mind, so that it literally just happens on its own. So the more that you can prime for those thoughts and those actions, those behaviors, those ways of being, the easier it will be to do it in your waking, walking around life. So another thing that you can do is start to reprogram your reticular activating system. And this is something that isn't new. I know it's out there all over YouTube, but it's so powerful because it's working with what you already have in your life. So instead of trying to create something new and reprogram your mind to a completely new reality that you might not even fully believe in yet because there's no physical proof, your reticular activating system is an amazing tool that you can use so you can start to change up what you look at and how you're focusing on your current reality. And basically what your reticular activating system is the part of your brain that filters out the world around you so that you can focus on only the things that are important to you. How does it know what's important to you? Basically, whatever your history is of focus. So it's there to keep giving you more and more and more of the things that you're already focusing on. So everything that you're looking at and how your emotional state is right now is how you have conditioned yourself to be through what you focused on, etc., everything that we went through. And your reticular activating system is there to just keep showing those things to you. Instead of looking at what isn't working out, maybe start to keep a journal of what is working out. This is where gratitude journals are so powerful, and that's why they're so popular, and that's why they work. Because you're literally taking the time to focus your energy on the things in your life that you're grateful for, the things in your life that make you feel good. So every time you do a gratitude journal or anything like that, it doesn't have to just be gratitude, you're literally training your reticular activating system to look more in that direction. How do you actually reprogram your mind? So through priming and through programming your reticular activating system. How do you make it stick? How do you make it so it's not this roller coaster that you're going through in life? Think of it as that old programming, so the stressed, anxious, etc. That version of you is on autopilot. It's on autopilot. It is a habit for you. So when you are trying to create a new habit of being, which that's all it is just creating a habit, it's going to take a bit of practice until that new habit becomes automatic. And that's when you can get it to the point where it's automatic, then you're constantly in that state of being happy, being at peace. And the good news is it doesn't need to take years to do this. If you have been doing it for years and it isn't working, I'm sorry to say, but I'm going to be very, very honest. There's something, either the consistency isn't there or you're doing something that isn't working, because it doesn't need to take that long. The people that I've worked with in the Freedom Formula, some of them have been starting to change their habit of being in as little as like a month. When you're doing the right things, programming the mind correctly, making it a habit, which means you're doing it every single day, those habits can become much easier to implement. So we spoke about why it's important to reprogram your mind. We also spoke about what you need to reprogram, as well as how to reprogram. If you're wondering what are the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to reprogramming your mind, then make sure you hit that bell button below, because that is going to be the video that we're going to be talking about next week. And like I said, the doors to the Freedom Formula are open. So if you are wanting to see if the Freedom Formula is right for you and see if you qualify for the program, then click the link down below to book a call with me so we can go through and see if it is a good fit for you. And I will see you guys in the next video.